everyone. Back to my stage. Thank you for coming back to me. I do appreciate it. Housekeeping rules, if you can come in and like, subscribe, and share, I would really appreciate it. It helps me to get into the algorithms. And I need loads of new subscribers. It's all free, so it don't cost you a penny at the moment because I'm not monetized. So pretty much I can say what I want. I try and still disguise certain words so that I'm just used to it. Right, we all know why we're here. This man is getting to be like a pain in my ass. I used to like him. He had weird mannerisms, but can't knock everyone for their weird things they do. But yeah, I used to, often shout out if I used any of his content. But going forward, I'm not going to anymore. Because of what he's been accused of, and I have to say it is allegations at the moment, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be an arrest warrant issued soon. I got a lot to get through today, so I don't know how I'm going to cope with this because I also need to go out and buy some dog food. But anyway, with JLR, he could fall down a cesspit and come up smelling of roses. He really could. One of his mannerisms that annoy me, I don't know if it annoys anyone else, but it could be me, is when he starts his videos, he goes, hello, 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 everybody, hello, hello. And he constantly waves. And that is, I don't know, it always makes me chuckle every time I see it. But like I said, it's my own. Now, this case I'm going to bring you now. When I went on it the other day, it showed he was in B category when you go to social blend. So if I just find my video to show you here, I'll try and bring it up that thing. So I'm hoping you can see it. Yeah, so you can see it. So you can see he's B plus. So he's going up in the world. Plus means good. And when he was in Tucson, he was doing loads of recording, pretty much live streaming all day at pointless things, in my opinion, without doing anything very much. And then one way he would get more donations is someone said to him, oh, if I pay you $5, can you do a picture of the mat if the mat's still there? So what did he do? He went and did a zoom in on the mat. But as you can see here, he was 64,086 in the rank. So just bear in mind these totals. Keep them in mind. This one I can't, to be expected, I think. I can't show you that because I had this stupid little pop-up. But just remember, plus B, or B plus, 64,800 and... can't put my teeth in. 64,086 in place. 1,767 and so forth. So that was the other day when I reported this. So if I come off this one now, and where's my other one? This one. So let's go back to StreamYard. Make me smaller again. Not that small. Let's remove this one. Stop screen. New screen. Excuse me. So on here, you can see he's now minus C grade. So I think the news about him are slowly taking away his subscribers and views and things. But this shows how much he estimated earnings. I don't know. Let's see if we can do it last 30 days. No, so I can't. So, this is roughly the videos he did, how much he was earning. charts on it. So you can go to Social Blade yourself. I've only typed in JLR's name on this because it's not in my interest to search up other YouTubers. And I can promise you, hand on heart, I've only searched his name up. I've got one really, really good creator that I go to, and that's Jay Scott of Guilty of Crime. And that, so she's my number one, and I've always got her back, and vice versa, I hope. So I just wanted to bring this one into picture so you can see what's happened. So within a few days, he's downgraded, which I think is pretty cool. me. Where else was I going to show you? That one I can close down now because that was my one. And then this one made me chuckle. I have got a lot more stuff to show you guys, so don't worry. I'm just trying to get some of the smaller bits out first, and then I can close my screens. This one. This made me laugh. It's on a site called Celebrity Birthdays. And under Jonathan Lee Riches, we all know he's sued a load of companies. I don't think there's not a company in the worldwide he's not sued. But I had to laugh. It says jailhouse lawyer. If I click that, what does it do? Just gives it a bit further down. So his date of birth, birth year, age 50, country, United States, birth city, Pennsylvania, horoscope is that. So, but it says quick facts, his biography, Jonathan Lee's net worth, height, weight. Well, we don't need to know that. So it says that his name, his occupation apparently is a jailhouse lawyer, which I find rather amusing. And then it says Jonathan Lee Riches is one of the most popular and richest jailhouse lawyers who was born on the 27th of December 1976. Then he's never been shy that he was in prison in the past, so he's never hidden that. So JLR is a former federal prisoner. That was his inmate number. Known for many lawsuits he has filed in various United States district courts. Riches was incarcerated at the Federal Medical Center, Lexington, Kentucky, for wire fraud under the terms and pleas of a bargain. He was released on the 30th of April 2012. Then he was arrested again for violating his federal probation in December 2012. When he left the Eastern District of State, Pennsylvania, without permission, he allegedly drove to Connecticut and impersonated the uncle of Adam Lanza, the shooter of Sandy Hook Elementary School incident, which I think that is appalling. That is disgraceful, disrespectful, and disgusting. Riches attempted to intervene as a plaintiff in the Madoff investment scandal, claiming that he had met Bernard Madoff on eHarmony.com 2001 and taught Madoff the identity theft skills. Apparently, JLR's net worth is $5 million. Source of income, jailhouse lawyer. House, living in own house. Just see if there's anything. Yeah, so he's now barred from doing any more lawsuits. And if he does file a lawsuit, say like if he decides to do it against one of us YouTube creators because we're reporting the truth or alleged reports on him. So the court would have to decide if he has a well-justified case to go ahead. And if he does, I believe he's got paid loads of money for it. So yeah, relationship with past relationships. Well, if anyone knows of past relationships, you may be able to help the celebrity birthdays to update data records for Jonathan. Um, he also wrote a book, Nothing is Written in Stone. Kathy ranked on the list of most popular jailhouse lawyers. That's not me. Oh, no. I'm sure that's not me anyway, because I wouldn't be on this thing. So these are all the other people that you can search on. So that's what I wanted to bring you on that one. And then my other one, I'm going to bring something from Plunder. And, please go to her YouTube page and click like, subscribe to Plunder as well, because I am using some of her content. So the other one I want to share with you, I managed to get hold of the Shelton, is it? County Court Police Records. Share screen. Or is it Sealand? I'd never know with these American places. So the County Court Sheriff Office, nature of domestic disturb thing. And then it tells you received by offence codes, responsible officer, the date it occurred. This is when they reported it. As you can see, his ex, I'll call her Magnolia, she reported it on Christmas Day last year. Oh gosh, who's got a name there anyway? So reported ASNC assault not classified, and the same as assault no weapon, aggravated injury, harassment. So that was like responding officer. So she had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and then the reports, the victim, complaint, suspect. That's his vehicle he's got, a 2025 Jeep Compass, maybe. And the call lasted from 9:18 in the morning, and then it was ended. I always get these mixed up. 10, 11. You have to excuse me. I do have dyslexia. So often enough, when I see words wrote down, I do get tongue-tied. So this is the typed up incident report. So I'm going to try and read all this out. But please bear with me, because I do have dyslexia. Not that I'm going to use that as an excuse, but sometimes I can't pronounce words. Sometimes I see a word and it doesn't come out the way I want it to come out. So I do apologise in advance, and I will have a quick drink. Right. Narrative. The following report is a summary of the incident which occurred to my recollection. This report also serves a summary of my involvement and understanding of the said incident. Furthermore, portions of my involvement were recorded by audio and video on my department issue Axon body-worn camera. Please review the incident recording for chronological order, exact statement made, and or for further information outside of this report. So this is from the officers. I'm just going to take my headphones off because I'm not playing any videos yet. So, and I don't like headphones. So on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, approximately at 10:21 hours, I, Deputy K. Talley, was working uniform patrol and driving fully marked patrol vehicle for the Caylen County Sheriff's Office. We responded to the All Seasons River Inn located at that address for a report of an assault. The victim reporting partly identified herself as Jamie T. Phillips. Jamie told Dispatch she had received an injury to her nose from a fight last night with her boyfriend, Jonathan Riches. Rivercom was also informed Jonathan had taken Jamie's phone and left last night. When I arrived at the location at the same time as Aid, we contacted Jamie at the main entrance door. I could visibly see bruising around Jamie's right eye, consistent with being in the early stages of a black eye. I could also see a small red mark on the upper right corner of the bridge of Jamie's nose. Her nose was visibly not straight and resembled what I have observed through training and experience to be broken. Jamie requested that we all speak in the room where her belongings were, which is, you don't need to see the room, but Jamie advised sometime between 11 o'clock and 0 hours last night, she had confronted Jonathan about things she observed on his work phone. Jamie stated it was things such as communication with other women and what she described to be porn. Jamie stated when she addressed this with Jonathan, he became enraged and struck her with a closed fist multiple times on the side of her head, her nose, and her ribs. Jamie stated she grabbed her phone and began to dial 911 for help. But Jonathan saw her doing this, took her phone from her, and said, "I will effing kill you." Now, what saddens me here is, a man beating a woman. I think it's cowardly. It's also very intrusive for the victim. I also was once, as they call them, survivor of DV. Mine wasn't as bad as some others, but it did get contrary when I was pregnant. No male doctors or consultants could ever examine me because of my ex. So it was very controlled and conserve thing. Coercive, that's the word I was thinking of. I asked Jamie if she believed this to be a threat to be true. She stated she believed he would kill her. Jamie stated she believes at some point she lost consciousness after the assault, but remembered Jonathan grabbing 2 bags, his personal cell phone, Jamie's cell phone, and then leaving. I asked Jamie what phone she currently had, and she stated it was Jonathan's work phone that he had left behind. Jamie stated she did not know where he went, but believed he may have taken the white Jeep Compass they rented. I observed a white Jeep Compass to be parked outside prior to making contact with Jamie. I asked Jamie if she would be willing to have her injuries photographed for documentation. Jamie agreed due to most of the medics on scene and myself to be male. One of the areas of the injury recurring to Jamie lifted her shirt, requiring her to lift her shirt. I asked the female medic if she would be willing to take photos of Jamie's injuries with my department issued cell phone in the bathroom of the hotel, to which she agreed and completed. These photos will be uploaded for evidence. On completion of the documenting the injuries, Jamie was transported to the Cascade Medical Center for elevation. I requested Rivercom to put an ATL out for Jonathan. I responded to the Cascade Medical Center and met with Jamie in emergency room 3. I asked Jamie if she would be willing to complete a medical release form for the documentations of the injuries received from the assault. Jamie agreed, and the medical release form was completed, signed, and provided to the medical facility staff. Jamie stated Jonathan had been texting the work phone, knowing he had left it behind. He told Jamie he was 100 miles away from her and in the middle of nowhere. Jamie could not confirm the Jeep Compass still parked at the hotel was their rental, but due to it being the only one there and all the other guests' vehicles accounted for, this was most likely the vehicle. Jamie believed Jonathan to be the most likely still in the area, and their fight leaves tomorrow, which would require them to travel back to Seattle and return the vehicle to SeaTac where it was rented. So she's also allegedly saying that JLR strangled her. Now, to me, strangulation is very severe. Is the next one up from being killed. He's already stated he would kill her. And I believe he's quite possibly could. If he had porn on there, that could be if there's proof of that, and she had his work phone, so she could show the officers exactly what was on that phone if it wasn't locked, or even if it was locked and she knew how to unlock it. But to me, strangling somebody is so personal, because most of the times when someone strangles them, they're face to face with the person that's doing it. And you're like looking in their eyes, and the person doing the strangling is watching the life taken away from that person they are strangling. And usually, what happens after strangling is death if they don't stop doing it. It takes a lot of pressure to strangle somebody to the fact where they black out or lose consciousness or stop breathing. But anyway, I think strangling is a real horrid form of abuse. I was also advised by Jamie in August this year. She was on a work trip with Jonathan in Charlotte. This was when she first found out about his infidelity and porn issues. She stated she confronted him and he attacked her in the hotel where they were staying. Jamie drove back to Florida where they live. Jamie stated is a long history of Jonathan assaulting her in their almost 3 years of dating relationship. She stated she knows she should have left many times before this, but hasn't. But Jamie stated Jonathan needs to be held accountable for what he did. I agree. When you're in the relationship and you're being abused, it is really, really hard to leave that relationship. There's so many things that could go wrong. The person that's being is controlling you could say, "I will kill your children," or "I will kill your family if you leave," and all sorts of things. And you're too scared to leave. And people saying, "Oh, you should leave him," like I had happen in my case. Friends would say, "You should leave him." It's not that easy. If it was that easy, every person of domestic abuse would leave the relationship. And, believe me, it's till you're in that situation, it's the hardest thing to do. And then to report the crime like Jamie did, well done to her. That's taken a lot of guts, bravery, and that. So, I I have high regard for her for doing that. And she knew when time was time. She knew this had to stop now. She knew it had to end now, and she's done it. So I'm so pleased for her. I know people say she's got a checkered past, but that's nothing to do with what's going on now. So after Jamie was discharged from the state medical centre, I was provided a copy of the medical documents for this visit, and I provided Jamie with a courtesy ride back to her hotel. Deputy Matt Comas and I searched the room prior to Jamie going back into it. The on-site manager was contacted, who changed the security code combination for the front door and for the room Jamie was staying in. It should have been noted that while the white Jeep Compass bearing the WA registration, and that's his registration there, was observed earlier, and was confirmed to be other guests' rental vehicle and not the one involved. I have probable cause to arrest Jonathan L. Richards for violating RCW 9A Act. I'm not going to read all those numbers out. And interfering with reporting of domestic violence and harassment, threats to kill. On the 26th of December, I received a text message from Jamie on my department-issued cell phone that she had cancelled her original flight and booked a flight with a different airline, and she boarded with no issues. On the 27th of December, I received a text message from Jamie on my department-issued cell phone that she was finally able to track Jonathan's location. He was travelling through North Dakota, and it's not known at this time if he is driving back to Florida or to a different location. Well, we know early February, or the last day of January, Nancy Guthrie went missing or kidnapped. And he's been out there every single day for like 50 odd days. So he had the ideal place to leave that state. Did the victim indicate possession of other firearms in the home? No. Did the LE request consent to take temporary custody of them? No. Did the LE require other firearms? The suspect has access off-site. Was the DV arrest an assault or order violation? Assault. So then it goes on. I'll let you sort of like read that yourself. You might have to get right up close to your TV. So there was drug violations, felony assault, homicide, assault in the second degree, DV booked at the time, no. Harassment threats, no. I don't know why they put no. So incident report for incident. Vehicle release info, arresting deputy to release the vehicle to RO after SW completed. They're all words that are complicated. So that was obviously a picture of the vehicle that's been redacted. And then I don't know what must be an address here that's been redacted. So that's the documents I've got there. But let me try and find the other picture I wanted to show you. Did I put it in the documents? Let's have a look. I've got so many folders, it's unbelievable. Lewis Jacobs. Let's search JL. Nope. So I think one of them went into my other things. Let me see what this is. Just once, I don't know what I'm opening here. No, that's a load of gobbledygook. Let's try this one. No, that's an advert. Right, bear with me a minute. I'll just go on to my Facebook a minute because I saved it there earlier on in a message to myself. Right. So I can share this one. So, oh, can I? A minute. Let me just save this a minute. If I search desktop X account in JPEG, right? Because it's opened up as another window. So bear with me. So I found this on X today because I was where is it? I was looking at something else on X. I don't go on it often, but when I do, you know, I go on it and came across this here. So this was like 5 hours earlier to when I viewed it. JLR says residents want me back in Tucson ASAP. Some offering me their house and car. Crazy. Now, if only the residents knew what JLR's like and what he's allegedly been ported for, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't offer their house and car. I know when I did watch some of his lives that he had a couple residents come up to him and they said, "Oh, I always follow you. I think you're really great. You'll be the one to solve this case and everything." So as much as there's haters now, there's a lot of love out there for him still. And like I said at the beginning, I am no longer going to be using any of his content because with that DV assault case, allegedly, I can't support anybody that does that to another woman. And as I said, the strangulation is really severe. You know, it's so nasty. There's no comeback from that one. And so I had subscribed to him. I've unsubscribed. And like I said, I'm not following him anymore. I'm not going to use any of his content. What other people do is entirely up to them. I'm certainly not going to tell people not to follow him, not to chat to him and things like that, because that's not my place to tell people to do. So it's up to everyone else's opinion what they want to do on that one. But if only the residents had a clue what was going on. So the next one I want to bring up is Plunder. Let me go back to the beginning. I won't use all of her content, but I will use some of her content. And like I said at the beginning, I'm sure I did. If you can go to a channel and sub up to her, or even, you know, just subscribe without paying, it's entirely up to you what you want to do. But I am using her content, so I will be you know, I'm giving a shout out to Plunder because she does so much research into it. You know, she's like a bee, you know, a bee in a bonnet. When she's doing research, she'll do research, and you know, no one can fault Plunder on her videos and her content that she brings, because she spends a lot of time researching it. So, you know, it's really good. So I'll play this for you and I won't do any chat, and you might find me skipping it along. The only reason why I'm not using her entire recording is it wouldn't be fair to Plunder if I just copied her reporting. That's why I added my bits in at the beginning to show viewers, and then I just do some of her, you know, forwards on some of her recording. So if you want to see the whole story that Plunder presents, then please go to her channel and watch the full story. But I'm only highlighting certain bits of it, okay? Right, so here we go.
29 hip injury to a nose well for the indicate. Can you also add threats to kill for the ACL?
Lawsuits, lawsuits, lawsuits. Will JLR Investigate start suing YouTubers talking about him covering his most recent true crime case allegations? I doubt it.
Verify she's alone at the Boyfriend's not there. Correct. Last time she talked to him, he said that he was about 100 miles away, but not sure where that is. They're not from around here.
Jonathan Lee Riches sued his mother, his father, and a lot of other people, but now he's in the hot seat. He's a defendant.
Are you still on the phone with the RP? No.
Bear with me, guys.
Did you verify the number in the call is the RP's phone number? No, it's her boyfriend's. He left it behind, but I did verify what the number was.
Audio.
Receive. We're not getting any answer at the building nor answer on the phone. Receive. I will triple check and try to go back.
JLR Investigates has some mounting legal troubles, and he has responded. I just realized, really, today, he has responded, even though I've been covering this case for days. I've been researching it for days. And how else would he respond? Legally, of course. Has he made a public statement somewhere? Well, only through his lawyer, basically, by this motion we'll read.
229, tried to call back that number again for me. There was no answer. But I verified that is the number that called from, and that's what was plotting on the 911 map as well. Receive, thank you. We're trying all the different ranks at this point. 939.
I've watched plenty of coverage about Jonathan Lee Riches. He's a notoriously litigious true crime YouTuber. I'm telling you, this case has thrown me for a loop. It's had me all in my feels this weekend, just researching and waiting. I want to always bring you stuff that no other person can bring you.
We're in contact with the RP now.
But any other YouTuber who might be worried, I've noticed some of them say, oh no, he's going to sue you if you cover this case. Well, you don't have to worry about Jonathan Lee Riches suing you as long as you're reporting the truth. That's because this man, who has had the nerve to sue his own mother and father and many other people, in fact, I'll probably scroll all of his lawsuits on the screen as I'm talking. He has a limit. He has a limit on his legal filings. He can't just sue people willy-nilly, crazy stuff like he used to.
2025 Jeep Compass, 2026 to Hertz vehicles. Can you also add threats to kill for the ATL?
But there is one new case that he will probably really be paying attention to, and he's already responded to. We will get to his response in here and a lot about his background. I've learned so much more than I knew. But this case, 26DR2651, Jamie T. Phillips versus Jonathan L. Riches out of Garland County in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I love Hot Springs, let me tell you. That's the one that might take him down.
Hot Springs water. This water is 120 degrees, about approximately so hot that it kills the parasites. Water you can actually drink. This is amazing.
Let's talk about it all. His history, his mom, his dad, his ex-girlfriend, what she has to say, how all of this brouhaha could lead to this popular YouTuber losing it all.
Female transport to the hospital, Selma 31 are en route. 2922, continue to the scene and see if you can get a statement from the RP. Copy, that's under.
Now, if you search Pacer like I just did for the name Jonathan Lee Riches, I wonder if I should have left out the Lee. I probably would have found more. You will find so many tax filings, lawsuits that just wasted the time of the court, the judge, taxpayer resources, more than 3,600 filings alone. If I find more, I'll scroll those on the screen too. However, it's showing that his most recent lawsuit he filed was August 3rd, 2021, according to Pacer. Now, there are more recent filings from a so-called attorney, Jonathan Riches, but I assume maybe that's a real attorney and not Jonathan Lee Riches, the YouTuber. Yes, there is a real attorney named Jonathan Riches, and he's with the Goldwater Institute. He's a different guy. I had to make sure because Jonathan Lee Riches, oh my goodness, his legal stuff is bananas. So indeed, the most recent lawsuit filed by Jonathan Lee Riches was August 3rd, 2021, according to Pacer, nearly 5 years ago. Jonathan Lee Riches, also known as JLR Investigates on YouTube, okay, he's not completely banned, technically, from the legal system altogether, but he is one of the most heavily restricted litigants in U.S. history because of all these lawsuits. He's filed thousands of frivolous lawsuits, bizarre lawsuits. Just wait till we talk about his history with his parents. He's targeted everyone from Kim Kardashian, Donald Trump, the planet Pluto. I saw Thanksgiving, the Guinness Book of World Records. Because he's done all this and in his past caused so much trouble, they've implemented things to kind of block him from, lawsuit after lawsuit when he was in prison mostly. There's 69 pages worth of lawsuits. I just screenshot all of them on Pacer. I couldn't even put all of them on Facebook. It's like 137 screenshots just to see the title. So this is how he's restricted from suing. For those YouTubers I've seen, I've watched so many perspectives on this, on his recent, domestic violence case against him, these allegations. Again, everyone's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We're going to talk about his ex-girlfriend. We'll talk about him, his history, his parents. But for now, don't worry about being sued, seriously. They have a 3 strikes rule under this U.S. code where JLR is basically barred from filing federal lawsuits without paying the filing fee. A lot of times I saw through there he didn't pay the filing fee. It can be several $100s. He had so many just dismissed, like, this is malicious, this is frivolous. So he has to pay the filing fee in full. Several $100s, I'm sure he can afford it, of course. He has to pay it up front for every new case unless he can prove somehow he's in imminent danger of serious physical injury. However, serious physical injury is what his ex-girlfriend is alleging he caused her on Christmas Day, 2025. Also, all around the country, multiple states, federal, state, district courts have labeled JLR a vexatious litigant. Just annoying. They have this permanent pre-filing injunction against him in these specific jurisdictions. That means he can't file anything new without the judge giving him permission, or in some cases, the court clerk is authorized to just automatically reject any documents JLR submits if they don't meet strict legal criteria. And then he had his mail screened. Okay, and
I just seen that. Where was it? Kim Kardashian, Reader's Digest, and Oscar Valles. Snyder Man. So, there's nothing he won't stop at. He was obviously, when he was in prison, he had so much time to kill. He thought, I know what I'll do. I'll start 4,000 lawsuits. He even did a lawsuit against Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And the National Football League. Where is this guy? He is not on this planet of brains, is he? He's just a scam artist through and through. And I can say that because this shows he's a scam artist. Reader's Digest of all people to do a lawsuit against. I don't know where he even thought these up and why the prison even let him try to do all these lawsuits. It's just ridiculous.
2010, a federal court in Kentucky went even a step further, and they enjoined Richens. That means urging him, trying to stop him from using legal or special mail to send frivolous, fraudulent documents. This order even allowed prison officials, while he was still incarcerated, to screen and return any mail of his that had, no basis in the law or fact. But that was years ago, right? It was something many of us thought, okay, that's in the past. He's paid his debt to society. He's turned over a new leaf. He talks about God. We thought he'd changed. But he continues to appear in court records. So as recently as this year, 2026, he's in hot water again. You might remember the video I did about Barry Morphew. JLR's name came up. He appeared again in the court documents. I have the unredacted one Colorado sent out at first over on Patreon. We're showing JLR. He's streaming Barry Morphew's court hearing. Messed it up for all of us, basically. All of us who wanted to watch Barry Morphew's hearings. The court was very explicit. The judge specifically said no one can live stream this. So, those of us play by the rules. A lot of people who wanted to live stream it didn't. They played by the rules. JLR kept live streaming it. And as such, we got that taken away. So every time Barry Morphew appears in court, we can't watch it publicly on WebEx or anything. So let's talk about JLR versus his mom and dad. Now, while he's filed all these, thousands of lawsuits, it's a trip to me that his litigation against his own family members, oftentimes his mother, is pretty troubling. He blamed his mom, and I guess his dad too, for his legal troubles. Now, follow me. We're going to talk about this history with his mom and dad and how they got in trouble and all the case and everything, and how, to me, it plays into his most current 2026 troubles.
So like I said, I'm not going to use every single bit of her content because that's just is not fair. Let's go back to this one a minute.
Timothy Riches is also a co-defendant in that same case. Let's talk about the 2003 fraud case, the family business, as it were. I found I guess, the origins of JLR's criminal history. It was some sophisticated phishing scam and identity theft ring. JLR and his associates, they used these spam emails to trick AOL users into giving up credit card info. You know, back then especially, people were very gullible and not knowledgeable about being online. You know, it's like it wasn't the way it is now. We're learning more. I mean, 2003, I have to set it in my mind where we were digitally. 2005 is when I published my first blog post online on Blogger. You know, before that, 2003, I don't even know if Blogger was around. 2001, I remember the blogger Deuce. She was around. She knew HTML and she knew how to code her own website. And, you know, I was just learning about online publishing. So back then, JLR and his associates used this Texas driver's license template to create these fake IDs, dump stolen credit card balances into new accounts. So Timothy and Donna Riches, they were supposedly not the masterminds of this, but they were charged with conspiracy to launder money. The indictment says they helped Jonathan hide or move the proceeds of the fraud, which is pretty sad. I want to get the actual indictment itself. So 2003, that was like 20 years ago. That's when he was, around 30. So JLR was sentenced to 125 months. That's more than 10 years in federal prison. And that decade-long stint is where he began his career of filing thousands of handwritten lawsuits from his cell. I was like, wow, did he need attention? Like, why would he do this? It's like, to me, it's too bad he didn't use the time to, write something else. Write an entire book while you're in there. I don't know. Just do something more productive. So this lawsuit, JLR versus his parents. There's this case in Eastern District, Pennsylvania.
Let's go back on a minute. Like I said, I don't want to use all of Plunder's recorder because I want you lot to go there and, see for yourself.
In writing, his tendency to use aliases, just misidentify relatives and all of these pro se, he's his own attorney, filings. I guess he's not going pro se in this most recent case where his ex is alleging some pretty horrible things. We'll get there. I'm just building a basis, okay? So you'll see my thought process. So basically, if you're trying to find truth, this 2003 DOJ indictment identifying from July 10th, 2008 through December 20th, 2008, I have received over 450 letters and phone calls from defendants requesting interviews and my side of the story. I'm assuming JLR wrote this during the time he was doing that 10-year stint. Maybe he should have stuck with just writing novels or something, instead of lawsuits. He's blaming all these defendants of these silly little stupid lawsuits that people have to defend themselves against him, but he's blaming the defendants for his troubles. He wrote in each letter, defendants say that if I don't cooperate with them, they will write horrible negative articles about me to embarrass my character. FCI Williamsburg and the warden were sick of the defendants calling here every day and asking to speak to me, that they locked me up in solitary confinement, 24 hours a day lockdown for security reasons. We don't know if any of this is true. This is where I'm writing this suit without a typewriter. This is torture. So JLR is painting it as, okay, he's created all these frivolous lawsuits from prison. And then he's claiming the warden is sick of all these defendants calling and claiming they'll write horrible things about me, which I doubt is true. And so he's saying he's put down in lockdown 24/7 solitary confinement. I'm freezing cold, have no windows, get fed through a slot in the door like a dog, rats on my floor, anti-white graffiti on the walls, subjected to used, oversized clothing. Really. I'm starving. I weigh only 119 pounds at 5 foot 10 inches. My ribs stick out. Now, that is really thin. Who knows?
Let's go on a bit more.
Defendants have baby pictures and mugshots, so he went on to talk about that. But I found it interesting him talking about his autobiography. He says, my name is Jonathan Lee Riches. He was born at 6:08 p.m. 2 days after Christmas, he claims, in 1977, However, these most recent court documents from his ex-girlfriend say 1976. I don't know. He says he was born at this Chester County Hospital in Westchester, Pennsylvania. I weighed 8 pounds, 7 ounces. My mother's name is Donna Riches. That's why I was like, wait a minute, what? I thought this lawsuit said your mom's name was Carolyn Riches. So I went on this little journey. So I guess it is true. Donna Riches is his mom. Timothy Riches is his dad. He says he has one younger sibling. Her name is Carrie Riches, and she is 2 years younger than me. I wonder, first of all, who's still alive in JLR's family? I wonder if, are they still in contact? Do they have a healthy relationship? I wonder, what they think of all these antics, his latest so-called successes, but we find out now maybe things aren't what we thought. I'm really praying about my discernment to increase after all of this I've learned. He says, I don't remember much of my life from the time I was born to the age of 5. When people say that, that is also a little worrying. If you don't remember a lot of your life from the first 5 years of your life, that concerns me. I'm always like, why? What happened? What went on? Was there something traumatic?
With that, she speaks the truth on that. I don't know if anyone else can remember. I mean, I've had a pretty checkered upbringing. And, I'm not ashamed to say I was in foster care. I was in children's homes. As far as I'm aware, no fault of my own. But when I became an adult, I had a better relationship with my mother. A lot of people used to say, why are you still having a relationship with your mum, considering everything she's done to you? I can't remember anything of my early childhood. The only 2 things I can remember, and I must have been 5, maybe 6, I can remember sitting out. My mum used to be heavy into bikers. I'll try and cut a really long story short. So she used to have bikers lodging with her. And I can remember one particular day, I got told off for bringing like an apple or a satsuma into school. And it got back to my mum that the only reason why I wasn't allowed to take fruit into school, because all the other children are not having fruit. And it seems some people got a bit jealous of it. And they said I was not allowed to bring any more fruit in because not every child in the school, parents could afford to send their child in with fruit. So I can vaguely remember being on the back, no, not being on the back, being in the front of this on this motorbike with a biker behind me riding the bike, obviously, and him walking me into the school saying, if Kathy wants an apple in school, Kathy will have an apple in school. And so I can vaguely remember that. I can also, round about the same age, remember sitting outside my house on the curb. Luckily, the road wasn't a busy road. It was like a cul-de-sac type thing. And not feeling very well. And social services came along and picked me up. And there was like some arguments going between them and my mother. But it turned out to be I was actually drunk at 5 years old, 5 to 6 years old. And that's why I was sitting on the curb outside, not feeling very well. People must have reported her. They saw something and said something. So people must have reported her. And that's how come I landed up being in the care side of like foster parents and children's homes. So, that's the only early memories I can remember. And I think it's probably because they're like the second one was a bit traumatic. So that's probably why I can remember that one. But as for anything else, the only other times I can remember is a couple instances when I was in Andover Children's Home. And, it's only vague bits I can remember. I can't remember a lot, but I can remember everything I did from the age of 13 upwards. How crazy is that? Yes, a lot of things have gone on in my life that I haven't disclosed to people, and probably never will. But that's that. So with Plunder's saying she would be concerned of what went on in people's lives if they can't remember their early childhood. You know, she's hit that one dead on the nail, that one.
Why are you blocking those memories? Because, you know, the earliest memories, I think I remember like my first birthday party. I remember being upset and crying. You know, you start remembering these little things, going off to nursery school or what have you. Anyway, he said, I know I lived in a small duplex home in Malvern, Pennsylvania during this time period. My father was a banker with the First National Bank of Westchester. My mother worked as a secretary at the Chester County Hospital. My grandparents on my mother's side would take care of my sister and I during the day while my parents were at work. My grandparents also lived in Malvern, Pennsylvania, in the country, and still live in the same house to this day. Both grandparents on my mother's side are still alive. Well, back then, whenever this was written. When was this book published? That was published in 2018, so I don't know. It says my grandparents also lived in Malvern, Pennsylvania, in the country, and still live in the same house to this day. Both grandparents on my mother's side are still alive. Their names are Eleanor and William Davison. I have plenty of uncles, aunts, and cousins on my mother's side of the family. Growing up, I would often spend time with my grandparents on my father's side of the family.
So, like I said, I'm not going to use all of her content because I want you to go to her YouTube page, and that because she has put the work into this. So, you know, I'm not going to be greedy and take everything off her and that. So that's why I'm only doing snippets.
Timberlake to Jessica Biel to Thanksgiving and some other weird, a lot of companies. He has probably shot himself in the foot in a way by disrespecting the court system so much. Because I was thinking if anyone actually defamed him, JLR would probably have a hard time filing a defamation lawsuit right about now. But chances are he doesn't want to file any defamation lawsuit and sit for any defamation deposition. You know, for YouTubers like me, we're covering this protection order filed against him by Jamie T. Phillips in Garland County in Arkansas. This case again, 26 DR 2651. His prolific filing of lawsuits as a plaintiff has largely stalled due to all those legal injunctions and the 2018 federal indictment. It was horrible. This Gabby Giffords lawsuit. So one of his last major fake lawsuits involved JLR posing as Jarrett Lee Loeffner. Loeffner. He's the man who shot Gabby Giffords, and amazingly she survived. He was suing Gabby Giffords in 2016. I mean, she survives this horrible attack. People lost their lives. JLR sues her. I mean, she's just like recovering, traumatized, and he sues her. So JLR was indicted for making false statements in July 2018, and then he was sentenced to 5 years probation. Okay, so that's July 2018. The next month, I realized, is the first time I ever heard of him. The first time I ever heard of Jonathan Lee Riches was around August 2018.
Let's skip again. So let's go back here a minute.
Also, that's with a domestic report, 27 also. 29, she has injury to her nose, we're also going to be sending aid.
Verify she's alone and boyfriend's not there.
Correct. Last time she talked to him, he said that he was about 100 miles away, but not sure where that is. They're not from around here.
Okay, 29.
That's him.
Okay, 11 more small. Stand by until 31 small closer.
Muslim or something.
29, 925.
Okay, 29, we're almost in there, yeah.
Okay, 29, 930.
Are you still on the phone with the RP?
No.
Received. And you verify the number in the call is the RP's phone number?
No, it's her boyfriend's. He left it behind, but I did verify what the number was.
Received. We're not getting any answer at the building nor answer on the phone.
Received. I will triple check and try to call back. K29 tried to call back that number again for me. There was no answer. But I verified that is the number that called from, and that's what was plotting on the 911 map as well.
Received, thank you. We're trying all the different ranks at this point.
939.
Caitlin and Tom, we're making contact with the RP now. Charles Tom Adams 6791.
K29 956. From K29 Charles Tom Adams 6791 2025 Jeep Compass 7 2026 to Hertz vehicles at any.
Can you also add threats to kill for the ATL?
K29 1007.
Female transport to the hospital, south of 31 are en route.
2922. Continue to the scene and see if you can get a statement from the RP.
Copy, that's London.
This is taking precedence over any fake lawsuits Richens may have filed in the past. I mean, a lot of them were off-putting, like what, the Sandy Hook stuff and all of that stuff. But whoa, these new allegations, if felony charges are ever filed and JLR is ever arrested, where will it take him? His latest legal journey? Will the man who served his prison bid all those years ago in probation, I'm assuming it's over by now, and claimed he turned over this new leaf, he built a popular channel with, well, it's losing subscribers. It was down to 550,000, which is still a lot, but will he lose it all? Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is what the stuff hit the fan when this Chelan County Sheriff's Office incident report came out by his ex-girlfriend, and we're going to read a lot of her history too. I want this to be very thorough so you know the whole deal.
So I'm going to skip this because, like I said, I want other people to read it. I'll just see if there's anything else I can use.
Will cause out west, so it doesn't mean Arizona authorities would necessarily just pick them up. You know, there's a lot of states involved. This happened allegedly in Washington state. Jamie is in Garland County, so she's in Arkansas. JLR home base is Florida. So people are just like, why didn't they just grab him in Arizona? Is that why he spent so much time in Arizona, away from Florida? I don't know. Throughout the relationship, the respondent physically assaulted me.
So yeah, so see if there's anything else. No. So that's all I'm going to bring you guys. Like I said, please go to Plunder's page and, you know, subscribe to her, listen to the video, you know, when you can, because it is quite a lengthy one. Like I said, I give shout out to Plunder, I give shout out to anyone if I use their content. The one person I won't be using is JLR's anymore. There was also a petition because about Nancy Guthrie. I just lost trail of thought then. Because this is the end of my stream now. If you go on to one of my short videos and in the posts, you will find, let me see if I can bring myself up. YouTube, a minute. Let's go back a second. Where's your videos? So my shorts on here. Shorts. 24th of March. Bearing in mind, this was last night when I had a drink. Or two, or three. Let me go back to my StreamYard. So, you know, let me remove these things. But the quick topic on Nancy Guthrie, they still don't know what's happening. I think it's ridiculous. You know, these people that are involved in her kidnapping certainly know how to go unseen, sort of thing. They've just disappeared. And unfortunately, so is Nancy. But the people of Tucson, like the other sheriffs and things, are really fed up with nanos. So they filed a petition to try and get him voted out, or they want him to come up with retiring, which I think he should, because there's so many things that have been done not correctly. He contradicts on what he says. So I signed a petition. Spam. I signed a petition, and when I signed it last week, I think it was, I was the 188th person to sign it. I think now they got a bit more, but I put this on there last night. That's not the one. Stop screen. Share screen. And it was a short that I did last night. Like I said, take no notice of me because I wasn't planning to do a short video. Where's it gone? There we go. And I had a bit too much to drink, I must admit. Who doesn't? Let's see where I can play. So this is the petition. So https://www.change.org/p/recall -sheriff nanos of Prima County. So, go and share, go on to that website and sign up if you don't like the way Nanos was doing things. I don't know how involved he might be in the case, but I keep those thoughts to myself for the time being, because otherwise we'll be here another half hour talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. But that's for another time, because I really need to get out and do some shopping now. So thank you for staying with me for over an hour. I do appreciate it. Like I said many times before, go to Plunder's YouTube channel and watch that entire video at your leisure. In the meantime, if you could click like and subscribe and share to my channel, I'd really appreciate that. It would really help me. I need to get my subscribers up. When I last looked, when did I look? I think it might have been yesterday. I was on 79 subscribers. But, I've set a goal to have 1,000 subscribers by the 15th of May this year. The only reason why I picked the 15th of May is, one, it's my adult son's 29th birthday. And secondly, that's the day we go on holiday for a week. So that whole week of May, I will probably only be doing short videos, upload them, because I'm not taking my whole PC setup with me. My 2 screens, I'm only using one at the moment because I found I didn't need to have a second screen. And then my PC tower and the microphone and everything else that goes with doing streaming. So I'm just going to use my phone and iPad when I'm away, if there's anything really important that I want to get out there. So once again, thank you everyone for watching and putting up with me and trying to read those documents at the beginning. Like I said, my dyslexia sometimes gets the better of me, but I'm trying to beat it. I'm not going to let it define who I am, and I'm not going to let it stop me from trying to be a YouTube creator and that. So I will see you on the next one. It won't be for a few hours yet. Okay then, thank you.